Thanks, guys. I think everybody knows me, or enough of you. If you don't, come see me after and we'll get better acquainted. I'm running for Iowa House District 48, which is all of Boone County, and Slater and Sheldall, points between in Story County, and Washington Township, which follows Highway 30 like this, but predominantly on the south side, as far as Huxley, but not including Huxley. So that's where, if you live there, you're my constituent. All right, well, we gathered today on this Independence Day to celebrate a country conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. We, of course, understand that at the time, they thought they were being very progressive, and by all men, they meant all wealthy white men, landowners only, and declared themselves all equal to each other. In the succeeding decades and centuries, we made a lot of progress forward to include more of our population in that equality. And we were starting to feel pretty good about a lot of it, and Iowa was one of the states that was first to women's right to vote and gay marriage. Iowa was on the leading edge of many of these issues. We have noticed a little backsliding lately. Time to put the brakes on. Time to put the brakes on. And you've all heard about how power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. I think we're at the absolutely stage with the Republicans in Iowa, because they haven't had any check on their ambition and on their ideas. And to me, it's just so repulsive that they would take a piece of legislation, poorly written, unenforceable, opposed to all of the humanity, or most of the humanity in their state, and pass it. They will pass legislation on medical items with limited understanding of the human reproductive system, no medical training, and without consulting a doctor. And that is unconscionable. We don't have to put up with that, and we should not. We need to vote them out. We need to vote them all out, start over, get some people who will consult with professionals in an area if we're going to pass a bill in that area. Unintended consequences. Whoops, we didn't mean to make huge cuts to the AE. Yeah, how'd that get in there? Well, that is, we cannot call them out. We have to call them out. We can't put up with it. We can't stand for it. And that's what I do. When I was at an economic forum with Jesse Green and Phil Thompson, so that would be the senator and representative from my district, they were talking about how wonderful the economy was and how great our school systems were doing. And somebody said, well, what about, some of these schools are having cuts? And Jesse Green says, oh, that's just mismanagement. They took their COVID relief money and hired staff with it. That was one-time money. You can't hire staff. Now you have to lay those people off. So that was mismanagement. And we can't let a few bad apples. And by the time he got to that, I was standing in front of him with my finger in his face, my little teacher finger, and I was using my teacher voice, I'm taking you to the principal's office, Vossler, voice on him, and I let him know that the reason our schools were suffering was that you have underfunded them below the rate of inflation for 14 out of the last 15 years. We all understand that if you are funding below the rate of inflation, that is a cut in the amount of money you have to spend. So you are cutting staff, you are cutting programs, you are cutting help for kids that need it. You are cutting every single thing. And parents are asked to pick up the slack. When I was a kid, we didn't bring Kleenex to school. School could provide Kleenex. Next, they'll be asking us to bring our own toilet paper. Because that's how bad our schools are suffering. And it is deliberate. This is not an accident. But those people who sit there and tell us how well, honestly, then Phil Thompson pipes up, there's $200,000 worth of new funding in education. $200,000 split between every school district in the state. What do they get? 40 bucks each? It does not make up for your mismanagement and your lack. Do not tell me that you believe in educating our children, because you are absolutely not showing that. And so we cannot allow these people to get away with it. Call them out. Stand up and call them out. Phil Thompson's not running again. I don't know if I had to do with that. So we get Chad instead, but we won't go off on Chad because that's a whole other thing. I just say I appreciate your support and echo my esteemed colleagues that yes, we all need your help in any way, and there is some way you can help. Financial, 1 yard sign, $8 with the stand roughly. Mailing 1,000 postcards, over $400. So for us to reach out to people, it's expensive. And we're out there working. We're working hard. Margaret Liston, who's running for Senate against Jesse Green, and I have knocked about 2,250 doors so far. And we hope to get another close to 10,000 before the election. So just keep us in those flyers so we can hand them out to people. And thank you for your time.